Do I look good, Dad? Dad? How does the camera? Hey, the countdown's not done yet. We're not supposed to start yet. Dad?
Hello, welcome to In My Head, episode 5.
That was a countdown.
That was a good countdown, wasn't it, Ben?
It's a great countdown.
Hey, Ben,
Very
say
many
hi.
chickens. Huh?
Say hi, Ben.
Hi, Ben.
Hey, Ben, you know what? We have a new thing today. It's a new technology, and it's called the Many Emotions of Ben Marshall.
Okay.
So, Ben, we're going to try this out, okay?
How does this work? I don't know
right.
what's going on.
So, Ben, think of something really that makes you super angry.
Angry.
Yeah.
Something that makes me really.
Oh, you already think about it. I can tell you're thinking about it.
Yes.
Okay, stop thinking about it.
Okay.
All right, thinking about something that makes you feel really happy.
Happy. Coffee.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right,
Yellow?
Ben, think about something that makes you sick.
The color green. No, please no. I can't. I can't. It's the green.
All right. Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to In My Head. About the power of choice, and you chose to be here today. And you know what, Caleb? Yes, the inmates are running the circus
And the rubber chickens.
and the rubber chicken. I so appreciate all of you being a part of this. This is a conversation about kids ministry, and as you can see on the board behind me, there's multiple topics. There's thousands of topics, and if you pay close attention, we've already changed out some of the segments, some of the empty segments that have been talked about. So every Monday at 3:30, we're going to have a special guest. I'm excited about today's special guest. Every success, our special
Real quick,
guest. What?
I'm so
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
But your microphone has been switched off.
What?
Yeah, we're getting nothing from it. And we can thank Mr. Sanders for pointing that one out. Thank you. Is it a button on the microphone?
No.
So we have a special guest today. Do we want to announce the special guest now, or do we talk about that later?
One sec.
One sec. Okay. For now, hey Caleb, since you're watching, what is your favorite movie of all time? I will tell you that mine is probably, I gotta say, Lord of the Rings. I just think it's one of the best movies of all time. But that's just me. How about you, Father? Is your mic working yet?
You know what? I need an experience difficulty. Whatever. What is that thing? Can you still?
Is it still there?
Oh, there it goes.
Hey, yeah, you're fine now.
You know what happened, Ben?
Yeah.
You know what happened?
Yep. What happened?
I pulled the audio plug out of the back of the mic.
There you go. Caleb says The Prestige is his favorite movie. By
I
the
don't
way.
care about that topic.
I care about
You know
Caleb's
what,
favorite
Ben?
movie.
Get really angry for me.
Okay. Why would you not acknowledge my movie conversation with Caleb?
I don't know. Okay. All right. Anyways. All right. We have something to talk about today, and that is the power of choice. And Ben, like I said, I've been upgrading our system.
Yeah.
And today's special guest, we're going to put in several different rooms, if you can believe that.
Oh, that's incredible.
It's going to be amazing. But I want to read something. The power of choice. This is such a huge topic that as I was reading a little bit about our subject today, I realized this is way too big of a conversation to have in one conversation, but we're going to try. And as you guys know, our special guests are scheduled, but the topics are not known until the week before because we spin the wheel. So when it comes to choice, I've been reading this book called Decisive by Chip and Dan Heath. They are the writers of Made to Stick. But they said a remarkable aspect of your mental life. They said a remarkable aspect of your mental life is that you are rarely stumped. Rarely stumped. A psychologist who won the Nobel Peace Prize in Economics, Daniel Kahneman, for his research on the way that people's decisions depart from the strict rationality assumed by economists. In his fascinating book, Thinking Fast and Slow, he describes the ease with which we draw conclusions. The normal state of your mind is that you have intuitive feelings and opinions about almost everything that comes your way. You like or dislike people long before you know much about them. You trust or distrust strangers without knowing why. You feel that an enterprise is bound to succeed without analyzing it. He talks about this thing called the spotlight effect. When it comes to making decisions, like when you encounter somebody, we make choices like right then. Like if someone comes up to us, we're already making choices in our mind. Or if we're in kids' church and a leader comes and says, "Hey, I'm tired," or "I don't feel good," we immediately start making choices. Do we replace them? Do they always do this? Is this uncommon? If someone is like, say, sick and they say I'm sick, but they're never sick, I would be genuinely concerned based on history. But it's called the spotlight effect because we focus on one part, and that's the part that we make decisions about. I love this analogy he gives. It's called, I got to add more cheesecake. He says, the ultimate red velvet cheesecake is exactly the kind of thing our guts get excited about. Because so many times we make decisions based on our gut feeling. You know what I'm talking about, Ben?
Yeah.
So when we make decisions, we make decisions with our gut, and yet we fabricate reasons in our mind because we're only focused on one thing, hence the spotlight effect. But I call this, I got to add more cheesecake, because he said no one would make the mistake. No one would make. Let me back up. The ultimate red velvet cheesecake is exactly the kind of thing that our guts get excited about. Yet no one would mistake this guidance for wisdom. Certainly, no one has ever thoughtfully plotted out a meal plan and concluded, I got to add more cheesecake. So why did we choose cheesecake, Ben? Ben, why would you choose cheesecake?
Well, because in the moment it looks delicious.
That's it?
I mean, yeah, it's like right there.
What are the health benefits?
It's the mental health benefits. It's the tasty of the cheesecake, you know?
Yeah, but it's not good for your body, Ben.
No, it's not good for your body, but
So why cheesecake?
it tastes good.
It tastes good.
Yeah.
It tastes good. Well, listen to this. This is some stats, Ben.
I like
You know
stats.
what, Ben? We need some stats are important. Mm-hmm. Often our guts can't make up their minds at all. In fact, an estimated 61,535 tattoos were reversed in the United States in 2009.
Oh,
That's crazy.
that's crazy.
A British study of more than 3,000 people found that 88% of New Year's resolutions are broken, including 68% of those resolutions. Ben, check this out. 68%. This deserves this. 68% of resolutions merely to enjoy life more are broken. To just simply enjoy life.
I
That's
feel
it.
like that's a silly resolution.
That is a silly resolution. You know what? That makes me angry. In fact, this book was written several years ago, and it said this. Quarterback Brett Favre retired, then unretired, then retired. At press time, he's playing / wait, he retired. But guess what, Ben?
He's still playing.
He retired, and guess what?
What? Is he still playing?
Playing again.
Are you serious? Hey,
Because
what's
we
the name
don't
of
make
that psychologist again?
What's that?
What's the name of that psychologist?
Daniel Kahneman.
Okay, I thought you said Daniel Kahneman, and I was very confused.
All right. Well, uh, why do we make decisions, and how does decision making affect us in kids church? Well, today's special guest is, I wouldn't say this person is a professional expert in the power of choice, but this person grew up in my kids ministry, and oh wait, Caleb Sanders just pointed out Brett Favre is not Tom Brady. So I was talking about Tom Brady, but
You were?
I know a lot about sports stuff, as you
Right.
can tell. Just to set the record straight, I don't ever want to be incorrect. Our special guest today grew up in my kids' ministry. He has seen me make a lot of good choices. He's seen me make a lot of poor choices. He's gone on to do some amazing things, and I'm really proud of him. And he's currently serving on our team. I would like you guys to welcome the one and only Simon Isaac. Hello, Simon.
Hello there. Hi, everyone.
Simon, can you tell that little man on your shoulder hello for me?
You want me to tell him? Hi, Groot.
Well, okay, we're talking about the power of choice today. What made you decide that Groot needed to be a part of your show?
What made me decide this is I had him pretty much ride along with me for now. He's on my YouTube channel, and he's also pretty much become a staple to Destiny Kids. So every time I go there, I'll bring him along. He makes a little appearance here and there. So yeah, he's pretty much just here. He's a part of the family.
I love him. He's awesome. So,
Yeah.
Simon, you have joined our leadership team in kids ministry, but do you remember being a kid in our kids program?
Yes, I totally remember that.
What would you say would be what would you say would be something that stands out to you as a kid in my kids program so many years ago?
What stands out being in it is I always wanted to come back, because usually a lot of kids I joined. I was since before I even met you, and usually a lot of kids is like, this is slow and boring, and like, yeah, what made it different and unique is the fact that there's always something that wanted to draw me back to go to just go to kids church every single Sunday, no matter what was going on, because I knew something was good was going to come out of it, and it was fun.
So even as a kid, who's, I think we often discredit the power of choice with kids, because when it comes to things like going to church, our I would say historically parents are dragging their kids to church. Like, no, you're going to church, right?
Yeah.
But for a kid to say, I decide that I want to go to church, what affects that decision in your opinion?
What affects it is, one, it shows that the kid shows interest in something, and that eventually when they get to make choice, it kind of conveys what they like in the future. You know what I mean? It's like for example, I decided to go to kids church, like specifically yours, because I knew it was always going to be fun, and I knew I was going to have a good time, and I knew I was going to learn something out of it in the end, every single week.
Okay, so your parents brought you to church, obviously, but it was your choice whether to enjoy it or not. Would you say that's true?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. What are some factors that you think, remembering back before we move on to something else I want to talk to you about, what were some factors that helped you in your decision making to enjoy kids church or to not enjoy kids church? And we know it's not always about fun, but as a kid, kids are brutally honest, right? So what are some factors that you think kind of made it easier to come in? You were already going to be there because your parents were bringing you. But you got to decide what made it easier.
Okay, so what made it to stay in kids church, basically?
Yes.
Okay. What made it easier was, my parents sent me there. I would say what made it easier is, hi Groot. Yeah, you're waiting for me, aren't you? Yeah, it's just I just keep going back to the fact that it's unique. It's like, as a kid, I just wanted to. I think all kids like to be entertained, but also when you inspire a kid on a different level, it hits them pretty hard, and that's what makes them want to come back. That's what made me want to come back, because I loved what was going on in Real Kids Live. Just getting to learn about the gospel and learn about God in a whole different way is what made it easier to go back there, because there was something new every single time.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, but I think that, and look, if anyone knows me, they know that I love having fun, like all the time.
Yes.
Like I just love having fun. But I'm going to say this today. I'm going to say it right now, Simon. Fun is very shallow. If all our focus on is fun, I believe that it is a shallow thing if you just stay in the fun zone, and that's all our goal is just to make it fun. It's very shallow, and it kind of leaves you with an empty feeling, like it was fun, but what's the stuff I get to take home? And I think that's where I think fun is like I think
I'm
fun.
sorry.
It's all good. I think fun is a way to get the attention and to affect desire to be in a place. But once they're in the seat, there's got to be something more. So when you were a kid, and this is the last thing I want to talk about before we move on. When you were a kid and you were sitting in the seat with, yes, it was fun. Yes, it was captivating. But what's something that you took home with you that you can remember that really impacted you?
That's a hard question.
Like what inspired you? Like something you walk away feeling like, I feel good. Why? Now I know kids don't often answer that,
Okay.
but like,
Yeah, I felt good because it reminded me that I didn't have to, be the same every single time. Like for a kid, like me as a kid, I don't know how I understood this at the age of 9 or 10 years old, but if you're different, like it's okay to stand out and be different. That was one thing that stood out to me the most every time I went in there, is if you're different, because when I watch kids go up on stage, it's different to see them up there and doing the things that that you're telling them to do, or just something crazy. And it reminded me that it's okay to be different. It's okay to be crazy and unique. Because back then I always wanted to be just like every kid in school or every kid that was popular around, depending on what that was. So yeah, that's what I would say that stood out to me in the kids' church that I grew up in.
I do tell leaders, like when they're coming in to like serve, like, hey, we're weird. We are very weird, and we have weird characters, but we have reasons why we're doing this, because we try to break through the crust. When someone's going to a place like church or school, you try to break through the crust to get to the soft, gooey part, which that sounds really weird when it comes to talking about kids, but that's not. But what I'm talking about is like people come in with like these barriers, and a lot of times they choose those barriers based on experience. Like, I don't like being in a place where I'm forced to learn something, or and so fun is a way to kind of shed that off. Well, you're a really fun person, Simon, and before we move on to the next question, you have a YouTube channel. What's the name of your YouTube channel?
Right. The name of my YouTube channel is Roller Coaster Crafter.
Okay, so Roller Coaster Crafter. Before we say anything else, I want to show a video of you created a roller coaster, and I'm like amazed by this. I have many questions. So let's take a look.
No matter how many times you get hit, can you get back up?
With great power comes also great responsibility.
Be careful what you wish for, Parker.
Spider-Man's name is Peter Parker.
Okay, Simon, I don't even know where to begin to think about how you created that, but I guess the first question is, how did you decide to get into roller coaster crafting? Like, where did that start?
So that started when I was a young kid. I went to Six Flags Discovery Kingdom for the very first time, and rode Cobra. Cobra was just a small little family coaster, and I loved it. I did one ride is all it took to get me hooked into roller coasters, and then it got me asking, "Is like, can I have this at my house?" Like they were outside, so I just figured, let's put one in the backyard. But I didn't, not realizing that coasters cost millions upon millions of dollars to make. So then I found the toy that you saw in the video. Those are Connects. So I've been collecting those for the longest time, and they came in these little kits. So they came with the instructions. You can build your own roller coaster based off the instructions, and you watch it go. It has its lift hill, and you watch the entire thing go just like any normal thing. And I would just watch it for hours. After building one coaster, I'd watch it, and then next one came out. I built that one, and the next one, and so on and so forth. So I got into it pretty dang quick as a kid because I don't know what came over me after riding the first roller coaster ever I've ever ridden, but it just went, okay, let's do this.
So, what was the first roller coaster you ever created?
The first one I ever created was the, like by myself, or one that came like.
Just like you went out and rode this roller coaster, and your next thought is, I'm going to build a roller coaster. What do I build it with?
Oh, okay, yeah. So the first one I ever built was Connects came out with the Double Dare dueling coaster. It was its first ever one, and it was a hit. So it was basically, it's a dueling roller coaster. We have two tracks. They do the exact same thing, but they race each other. So you're basically building your own racetrack that's about 3 feet tall, and it's really cool.
Okay, and so you built it, and then you built that. You obviously you were satisfied with it, and you wanted to do more. So you started building these roller coasters, and at what point were you like Caleb just said, I'm going to put it up again. We have to get serious about our fun, seriously. And obviously Rennell is famous for saying seriously. But at some point you got serious about it. You know, at what point, do you remember back at the point when it was no longer just like, well, this is kind of fun to do, and like kids like to experiment with fun. Like, you know, they'll build something, or they'll build Legos, or they'll collect cards, they'll play Pokemon or whatever. But at some point you get serious about it. So what point did you get serious about it?
I got serious about it when I saw other people doing it on YouTube. So I saw people building these massive ones, like, because they had tons of pieces, and they were building much better coasters, you know, that looked better than what I could do as a kid. But that's because they had more experience with it. So after seeing those, I'm like, you know, I could do that. I could definitely do it. So that's when I started getting real serious about building. I collected as much Connects as I could for like Christmas or my birthday, and I would build things big, because that was, as I perceived in the videos that I watched, I'm like, these coasters are huge, so I got to do the same. So I started doing that, and then started posting them on YouTube just for the fun of it, and it started gaining a lot of traction. So I'm like, okay, let's kind of make this a thing. I could build one coaster a month per se. So I did that, and then out-launched the channel. I've been running the channel now for about 5 years, and gained a lot of love from it, a lot of support, and it's going now.
Yeah, you have like 4,000 subscribers, 4.3 thousand subscribers on your channel.
Yes.
That's awesome. So Caleb had a question, actually, and it was, how do you choose which roller coasters to replicate? Because I've seen you do Space Mountain, I've seen you do the Matterhorn, I've seen you do I think you did Joker at some point, maybe.
Yes.
But how do you decide which ones you're going to do next? Like, what's your process in choosing?
So it originally was, I would have the fans choose ones. So because the constant YouTube comments, when someone sees something cool, they're like, okay, because there's tons of roller coasters around the world I can build, they said, okay, how about you try this one, or how about you try this one? So I would basically make a lottery system every year. And out of like the hundreds of names that would come through, I would choose the best ones, or the most notable roller coasters that people would know. But right now I choose the ones that I think would be new challenges, because all the coasters that I did in the past, they're different and unique in their own way, but it's all the same process. Like, you get the station, you got a lift hill or a launch, and it does a few elements and it's done. what I want to do is I want to find something challenging, which is why I did Matterhorn, because that thing is a literal coaster inside of a mountain with a whole bunch of lighting effects and all the things Disney puts in their rides. So I thought, there's the challenge right there. So I did that one, moved on to then just the next coaster that has a lot more oomph to it, and then that way it's a more challenging thing to build, and that way I don't get stuck at just a bare minimum level of building roller coasters. I always want to get better and push the boundaries of each ride that I make.
Okay, so building Connect roller coasters is an amazing skill, and I think you've done just amazing with it on your YouTube channel. But where do you go from there? Like, how do you choose what to do with your life? Because if I'm going to ask you what I ask every kid, and I think, this is an important question, but it's an often used question, but it's, what do you want to be when you grow up?
So my dream has kind of always been the same. It was to perform on stage and make music and own my own theme parks. And with that, I knowing how to build these roller coasters and know how a park kind of runs, because I played games like Roller Coaster Tycoon and Planet Coaster, which are games that literally kind of show you how to run your own amusement park just on a game. And with that, mixed with my talent for performing and making music, arranging and making different things, like the Spider-Man track I made for that video, I want to put the two together and make that into a career, like run my own entertainment business, making shows and making theme parks, making a whole bunch of things where I can give people memories and share positivity and God's inspiration with everybody. So
awesome. I asked you a question a month ago about kids ministry, and
Yes,
you've been helping, and the kids, I firmly believe that when you make a choice, like, all choices have consequences, good and bad. So if you choose to sit down to create a roller coaster for the first time after going on a roller coaster yourself as a kid, that think about how amazing that choice, what the consequences of that choice has led to this. So you make a choice, it creates an avalanche effect, good or bad, right? So I asked you a while back about kids ministry, and you came back and you said, yeah, I'm interested in doing something with, that affects kids. Can you explain why you would say yes? Like, why you would decide to say, I want to influence the next generation?
I would want to influence the next generation because I always learned a phrase: the way you start is the way you finish. And with kids, I want to impact their lives, really, like the start of their life, and when they really start to memorize and process things, going to impact them, so that way they finish off strong, and that their lives are going in the right direction. Obviously, I don't know where that will go. Only God really knows where each person's life will go. But I would like to be a part of it and spread the same love that God gave me to kids, like right at the start, so that way they know God is with them through every step of the way in their life, right from the get-go.
Yeah. So okay, making choices, how do you what do you think, what is your process in, and this is a really big subject, what's your process in making a decision? Because we talk about God's will and God's choice as if things have been planned out for us, but yet how many times do we make a choice based on our own desire? Like I talked about earlier at the beginning, the spotlight effect. Like sometimes we get super interested in something and we make choices based on that. So how do you differentiate God's will for your life versus, and there's no leading. I'm not trying to get somewhere with this. It's just a curiosity question. How do you look at what God wants for your life and then align that with what you personally are interested in, that you're personally passionate about? That's a really big question, I know.
It is, yeah. I'm going to answer this as best as I can. I would say the way I differentiate God's will and aligning that with my own desires is just kind of making sure I don't go overboard, because one thing I have been known to do, which I'm still learning how to diminish more of, is putting my own feelings in the way of doing certain things, because I know, because I've learned the hard way, if you take some matters into your own hands, it sometimes isn't the best choice. And knowing that, doing what the Holy Spirit has told you to do and listening to it all the time, that's always going to get you in the right direction. So I've always made sure in anything that I do, I always make sure to talk to God and ask if this is the right choice. To do things. Yeah. So that's what I would do every single time now. I'm still learning to do it, because a lot of times I'll just impulsively do something. It's like, okay, that sounds cool, let's do it, but not realize, wait a second, should I step back and ask God, okay, is this something you want me to do, or is this something I should just leave for right now and see what the other door is?
Well, brother, I've been in ministry for 22 plus years, and I'm still trying to find understanding in this. I still battle it. No matter how old you are, I think you battle it. And I often think of it like a little kid's on the beach building a sandcastle, and he goes out into the water to get a stick that's floating. And every now and then you look back and you go, am I still okay? Am I still okay? And you go out, and then, you come back, and then it's like the dad's going, still okay. Still okay. And then they go out and say, hey, there's something way out there. And that's when the parent, like God, gets up and goes, no, don't do that. You're going to drown.
Yeah, exactly.
Caleb asked a good question. Yeah. And
Yes.
The question is, how do leaders harness the power of choice or the illusion of choice in ministry? Now, you haven't been in ministry that long, Simon. So how would you say, as a leader, because you're one of my leaders, how do you harness the power of choice or the illusion of choice in ministry? Because empowering kids is important. How would you, as a leader, harness the power of choice in kids ministry?
For me, I guess it depends on the situation that I'm choosing, because depending on the severity, or like what different situations I'm making a decision on, changes how I would look at it. So
okay,
that's really the extent of where my mind would go, I guess.
Okay, good. And obviously it's important to give kids the power of choice, but not all the way, because if we said, what do you want to do today? And they said, I want to blow up a toilet. And then we say, okay, obviously you have to give them parameters, right? Well, Simon, I have a test, and you may have seen this or you may not have seen this, but I want to test you real quick. Based on, and we're going to talk about this afterwards real quick, and then we're going to close out. But I'm just going to show you the video, and you have to make a choice. Okay, that's as simple as that. Enjoy. We'll see you on the flip side.
Okay.
Sean starts riding down the sidewalk. He has no idea about what he is getting ready to see.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go with.
Okay, what do you choose?
Okay, I'm gonna go with take the balloon.
You're going with take the balloon.
Yes.
Take the balloon it is then.
Give me that balloon!
Oh no. You gave in to temptation and took Tutu's balloon. As a result, Tutu has taken your only way to get to Chumpy's Mini Mart. Game over.
I'm sorry, Simon. You chose poorly. But
I can see that.
Making poor choices sometimes can lead to the best choices, because how else are we going to learn, right?
Yeah, that is true.
Well, Simon, I appreciate you, man, and I love all the choices you're making. When it's fun to talk about kids that have come through your program that have made it. It's not often fun to talk about the kids that didn't make it because you feel somewhat responsible, you know. So on the flip side of that, I take responsibility for all your success. And at some point when you own a theme park and you're serving kids and kids ministry in whatever form that looks like, whatever form that takes, performing on stage, I expect a check.
Yeah, okay.
No, I really, my dad says something here, and I want to show it. It says, the Bible says God gives us the desires of our heart, but it's only the clean heart that can be congruent with God's will. It says gotta will, but you got to have a will. Gotta will.
Yeah. I like that. Gotta will.
Yeah, gotta will. You got to have a will. Got to have God's will. But Simon, keep making good choices, brother.
Yes.
And I look forward to serving with you more. I appreciate you being on the program today. We're gonna transition to the end. I want to show you guys. Simon, thank you so much. But I encourage you to stay and watch this. It's gonna be good. There's a video that I found called "The Power of Choice," and it's really interesting because, like I said, we could go on for 20 million hours talking about choice. But this video is called "The Power of Choice." We'll be back with you in about 3 minutes when it's over.
In any given moment, we have two options: to step forward in growth or to step back into safety. Abraham Maslow. This quote by the famous psychologist Abraham Maslow, who fathered the field in positive psychology and created the very well-known hierarchy of needs, is an extremely profound quote that I think each of us can apply into our lives in some way or another. What he is essentially saying here is that whenever you are faced with a difficult decision or find yourself about to sink into an old habit, you have the option to either step forward into growth or to step back into what is safe and what is easy. You see, each and every day we are faced with an endless amount of choices. Every moment is made up of one choice after another, and each and every aspect of our lives, including our circumstances, is affected by the way we choose to perceive them. Inspirational and motivational speaker Wayne Dyer once said, "Attitude is everything, so pick a good one." We all have the power to choose our attitudes towards something, and oftentimes an attitude change is all that is needed. With something as simple as an attitude change, you can dramatically transform any situation, task, or circumstance. Changing one's attitude is but one example of the power of choice that each of us has. One of the greatest examples of the power of choice comes from a man named Viktor Frankl, who wrote the incredible novel Man's Search for Meaning, which chronicles his experiences in a Nazi concentration camp and how he was able to survive these ordeals through the power of choice. One of the greatest lines from the book is this: "Everything can be taken away from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." Viktor Frankl endured horrendous conditions, beyond anything most people could even imagine. But instead of letting it break him, Viktor Frankl instead chose to use it as a way to grow, to learn, and ultimately to teach and inspire others. Through both his book and his eventual creation of logotherapy, which aims to help individuals to find meaning in their lives. Another quote that sums up Viktor Frankl's profound depth of the understanding of the power of choice is this: "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is the power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." We all go through difficult times in our lives. They are an inevitable part of life. But ultimately, it is our choice as to how we choose to perceive these difficulties. I honestly believe from my own experiences that everything in life, especially the difficult times, are an opportunity for growth. So whatever circumstances you may be facing right now, know that you have the innate power within you to choose your response. You can either choose to allow your current circumstances to bring you down, or you may use them as an opportunity to learn and to grow. You always have the choice.
You always have the choice. One thing that I want to point out in this book is that, and Simon brought it up a little bit too, was when you choose anything, the difference between making gut decisions, which we often perceive to be wisdom, because maybe it's based on experience, but again, going back to that spotlight effect, is that our perception is very different than the perception of others. And so when we make a choice based on even on our own experiences or what we perceive to be truth, it's our gut feeling. It's our gut response. And maybe we know truth because we've learned truth. But one of the things that I read was the best way to make a decision is to have a process. And if the Holy Spirit, if God's not a part of your process of decision making, then you're going to make a lot of terrible decisions that could really hurt a lot of people. And when we deal with kids, we don't know the lasting effect that may have on a child's life or even a co-leader's life. And one of my greatest fears, two of my greatest fears, is that I will cause a kid to hate church or to hate God, or that the second thing is that a leader would never want to serve in church again because they had such a poor experience. And they, and I've met these leaders that have at places they've just said, I'm no longer in ministry. I don't want to be in ministry. And so I encourage you, develop a process for making good choices. Include the Holy Spirit, include people. I remember Pastor Scott Hagen once told me, he said, when it comes to making decisions about people, make them incredibly slow. Don't make quick, hasty decisions when it comes to people. And that has served me so well. So well. So, Ben?
Yep.
How you doing there, Ben?
I'm good.
Ben, you got a condition there. There's something different about you?
No, I'm just listening to the chicken.
You're green. Your shirt is green.
My shirt is green, yes, right. But I'm listening to the chicken. And you know what I found? I saw the number on your screen. I can see like how many times that like button was hit.
Yeah.
But if I spam it, I've gotten up to 120 now.
You spammed it and hit 120?
At the top of your yeah, you see that at the top? Yeah. Right next to
So that's all you.
Yeah, that's me.
I was feeling really good about myself, Ben.
I liked it. It was great. That's why I was doing it. But also want to see how I can get that number to be. That was fun.
Well, Ben, that's really upsetting to me.
I like it. I like it. 120.
You made a very poor choice, Ben.
That was a great choice.
That's a poor choice.
I choose to like it.
Well, you know what I choose, Ben?
Choose the wheel.
I choose to do this.
Oh. Is it time to choose the next?
There we go. Because it's time to choose the next subject.
Absolutely.
Spinning that wheel. So, Ben, come up here.
Yes, sir.
Give me the chicken. Where's the chicken?
Oh, the chicken's in.
We got to get the chicken ready. So, This is what we're going to talk about. And by the way.
Oh, perfect timing.
We could have an expert on our show, like with the expert could be an expert on. Hey, someone just came in. Literally just walked in. Oh, it's last week's guest. It's like, how did this person? You can't just come on the show. This show is serious. Okay. Now,
hi, Magnus.
Simon says hello. All right, Magnus, take this chicken and run over there with it.
There you go.
There you go.
Bye, Magnus.
We have leaders that are experts coming on the show, and we could have a leader in building puppets, and we're going to ask them to talk about wristwatches. I'm just kidding. I don't know. One of the subject matters on this board. Ben, it's time to spin that wheel.
Books? Nope.
Nope.
Okay, yeah, books.
Oh, here we go. This is controversial. TV show or church? Should you run your kids' ministry like a TV show or run it like church?
Wait. Father, it's on books.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, you can see the little wire.
Wait, is it? Oh, is it?
Yeah, if you look closely, it's on books.
It is on book. Okay. This next week, we're talking about books upon books upon books upon books. And by the way, if you read an ebook, I'm going to challenge you next week for one specific reason. I don't care what you think or say. I've made my choice. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for coming on In My Head, for joining the conversation. Spread it. Spread the good news, and we'll see you next time on In My Head.
Merry Christmas.